5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Welcome now to the Crank Revolution Podcast, your source for cycling shenanigans. Listen now to our hosts, the purveyors of pedals, as we teach you more about cycling every single episode. So sit right back, pop a cold one, and enjoy our show. Oh gosh, all right. That is like super like, yay, let's do a podcast. So this is episode 1 to the Crank Revolution Podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about what this show is for and who it's for. Who is it for?
Everybody.
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 Anyone that wants to listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Any skill level. Why is that music just going on forever?
Because you have it going for another 3 minutes. According to
well, then let's all just keep the energy.
I'm so pumped and charged. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Let's do some kick flips and,
What? I would love to see you attempt a kickflip.
And the magic of
We're going to go straight to a
music.
video segment
Hey.
of Greg attempting to do a kickflip.
Is that's a skateboard thing? This is a cycling podcast, so let's not bring outside.
No, it's for everybody.
It's for everybody. Yes.
if it has wheels, we'll talk about it.
Well, so cycling, though, is the passion of all of us here. Each of us have been very specifically chosen for various tasks. For example, let's get to meet our hosts a little bit. But this podcast, wouldn't you say it's for? Would you say it's for beginners,
Yeah.
pros,
Yeah.
everyone? Yeah,
Do you like
Shakespearean
entertainment?
Pros.
Do you ride bikes? Listen to our podcast.
Do you know 4 weird people like us? Well, now you do. You can listen to us. We're going to drop these episodes. So we're going to drop these episodes on Fridays. Why? Because on Mondays, everyone's already depressed. And I'd like to think when you get to Friday, that is a great day to chill, pop a cold one, and enjoy your friends. So let's get to meet our hosts. To the right of me is
Heyo.
TC.
Hello.
Why do we call him TC? Everyone always asks, why is Chris called TC? Well,
Because he's never backed down from a challenge.
No,
Call
it's
him the chicken anyway.
No, the chicken. Because his real name is Christine, and he'd rather go by TC.
Wow. No, that's not.
That's not true at all.
That's almost like a. I just completely blanked out. And
now you're meeting Mark. Yeah, Merc. So we screwed up an audio recording a little while ago, and it got named Merc, so he is now Merc. Hi, Mark.
Hi. How
Now,
are
I love
you?
how you just absentmindedly forgot everything you were doing. So what were you going to say? Let's go back.
Why can't I think of the Man in Black?
What?
Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash. It's a
And this is
Johnny
what-
Cash song, is what you're
I
trying.
walk the line. Yeah. So this is a cycling podcast, believe it or not, but we wanted to share our passion of cycling with you. So Crank Revolution moving next to...
The wall next to me?
Oh,
You're talking about me. You're talking about me
Yes.
over here.
The Greg. Infinitely amazing Greg. Why do I say that? Because
I don't
he's
really know how to
actually...
segue out of that one.
Yeah, no, you just can't.
All right,
Just
moving
accept
on.
it.
Well,
Well,
put my hands back here.
we have pretty awesome cycling stories, but the reason I brought up Greg, though, specifically for that is you are planning like an insane, awesome tour coming up for bicycling.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
It's not that long, but...
Well, I mean, in like a Furkin?
wait.
Furlong Furkin type of
No,
length.
that's a
Well,
measure
furlong
of
would be a
torque.
type of length, so...
I don't want to do
Yeah, how many
furlong
furlongs
rides.
Wait,
is
so
this
furlong Firkins
bike
are
torque?
length torques?
Well, so like a pound, foot pound?
Yeah, so it's a furlong Firkin, so it's a length
Yeah, that's
of torque?
that's how
Yeah,
I'm
length by
measuring
weight.
my ride.
in length of torque.
this
Yeah.
is- this
So
is
what is
garbage
it?
radio.
Wait, so let's see if we can figure this out. Where is the start of your bicycle tour going to be?
Chicago. No, I'm kidding. I'll be starting actually out of Astoria, Oregon, where the
Don't say that.
Oregon.
You go, we've been to
I'm
Oregon.
holding. I am putting a line in the sand right now.
Grand Old Opry,
Oregon.
Oregon.
If I have to hear other states say
Don't
the
say
S in
Oregon.
Illinois,
Okay, man.
I can Illinois,
Okay, for the fact, Chris and I were there. We bike toured there, and we got corrected everywhere. So
and I
that's
look
just
forward to that.
We
with
is a
friendly
strong term there.
we. What do you mean we? What do you mean
You got corrected. I didn't.
Did you
'cause
say it
guess what,
properly?
I
Guilt
kinda
by
practiced my
association.
speech.
No one was looking at you. I was in the kilt, which is perfectly normal for me. So if we're gonna measure now on what is it, furling Firkins? All right. So you're starting in Oregon. And
We'll just measure in
you can't pump
parsecs.
your own parsecs.
Why can't I do? Oregon's a nice shape sound.
So where are you going from
You
Oregon
got
to where?
Polygon. You got Oregon. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, nobody wants to listen to Greg about cycling anymore. So, no, so you're starting in Oregon.
Yes. So it'd be starting in Oregon.
Oregon.
Or Oregon. That's what I just said. Anyway, I'm starting in that state just south of Washington.
Yes, perfect.
Washington State, right?
not a
DC.
sponsor.
Okay.
Yes,
We're not going to say their name because they're not a sponsor of the podcast.
Not yet.
Not yet.
The
South
state of Oregon.
Washington people.
We're negotiating with them. They still require me to pronounce their state right. All right, get that to happen. But from there, taking a variety of different rails to trails from across the country to end in Norfolk, Virginia.
Ooh. That's going to be an awesome, awesome trip.
Everyone goes, "Oh, you're going to do the Trans Am because that starts in just like a few weeks." I'm like,
Yeah. No.
no. For those that can't see me, no, that's not me.
Yeah, it's you.
What's
totally
the Trans
you.
Am though?
No, dude.
Is that the car?
How old are you? You don't know what a Trans Am is yet.
Of course
you
I do.
No, not a Trans Am, the Trans Am.
The Trans Am.
Bandit.
You don't know that?
Transamerica Bike
Transamerica Bike
So
Race?
you,
Yeah,
Oh,
I was just
Mr. I
checking.
didn't know about it. Suddenly knows about it.
Just
No.
giving you hell for a
I'll
change.
yeah. So Greg is going to get some major touring credit, and he's going to get us some audio from the road as he kind of interviews and talks about cycling across America. Now, wait a minute though, Murky
Yes.
Mark.
Murky
That's
Murk?
better. Tell us about your bicycling history.
Oh, my bicycling history goes way back
It's like
to
a resume.
Yeah, really.
You're winning over 50,000 people right
50
now.
wow,
no
50,000.
pressure. No
Oh.
pressure.
God, it goes way back. I've been riding for 30 some odd years.
I like how you just became like some guy on a porch sitting there. I've been riding for 35
Yeah,
years.
if you give me a rocking chair, I'll rock.
Just longer than I've been alive. That's whatever.
Shut it.
Mark was pooping bicycles when you were still in the womb, Chris.
Still the glitter in your mom and dad's eyes.
I'm glad he said
Oh,
eyes.
thank God, eyes.
We almost lost our rating on iTunes. All right, good.
We went from being PG to NC-17 in an instant.
So tell us more, Merc.
So I started riding because I couldn't afford a car. And just
How
Why
brutally
don't
honest.
shame him? You're laughing over there about it.
I'm not shaming, just how beautifully honest it was. It was so
just
beautifully
couldn't afford
honest.
a car. I figured I can ride a lot more and kept my slender look throughout the years.
Total dad
managed to
bod.
keep
Total
it.
dad bod now. But
No, that was in last year. I have a dad bod too, and it turns out it's not effective in 2019.
really.
Yeah, it's just not. That was a very short fad.
Good.
Very short.
Good.
As in, hey, let's all feel good about ourselves, saying it's okay for
It's
dad
okay.
bods.
No, it's not okay
not.
for dad.
No.
It's not okay.
Yeah, I was the guy that never wanted to get his driver's license, and I
Still never has.
Still never have.
That's why you were
No,
late to the podcast
yeah,
today.
Exactly.
Well, it's hard to pick
It's
up a
hard.
date when you're, on your one-seated bicycle.
Huh?
A unicycle.
A unicycle?
No,
No,
one
it's,
bicycle.
A bicycle has
seat.
one seat.
He can't pick up
Most
his date.
commonly.
That is true.
If three
Handlebars.
unicyclists, wait,
Handlebars.
if
Handlebars.
three unicyclists all hold shoulders, are they now a tricycle? They are structurally
Now we
holding
are
the three
asking the hard
unicycles
questions.
together. So wait, now we have to actually go to somebody with some cred here.
Yeah.
So TC, the tiniest of Chris's.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
How did you get into cycling?
So my brother got a job at a bike shop, and then I needed a second job, so I got a job at a bike shop about 11 years ago.
And now you're on a podcast.
And I'm
You've
on a
come far.
podcast, and now and I also am going to own a bike shop.
Yeah, he's opening a shop. So just so you know, this is coming from the Crank Revolution Media Company, where we're putting out mountain bike videos. You can find us Crank Revolution Media. You can find us on YouTube and watch that. But Chris is opening the physical store location
The Crank
to
Revolution
sell
Bike Shop.
people bicycles.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2019, because a bunch of shops closed, so we're opening it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
I love the business
time is
acumen.
right.
It's like, yeah, everyone's closing. Jump in because we can fill it. And it's like, wait a minute, why did they all close?
You
Oh,
buy
they
when
must have
everyone's
messed it up.
selling. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, stock market ideas.
Yeah, that's not me.
We should open up a music shop and we sell CDs. All of them are closing. It's a pretty good time. to
Yeah,
do
right.
it now.
Tower Records and Crank Revolution.
You know what? I don't think the jury's out on video rental stores. We should really try and bring this back.
Yes, and shoe repair. I hear that's big too.
Oh yeah,
So
the
you-
cobbler.
So you're opening a bike shop, but your bro got working, and then you started getting work in a bike shop. But then how'd you get into biking? Because you were like a fanatic of biking. When I say that, though, qualify. You went from the border of Mexico to Vancouver.
Yeah, in
The wrong
2015.
way.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
always
south to
go
north.
south, never north. So you fought the wind for all that way just
long
to
time.
get more training. This is mental illness. So let's do a therapy session.
Well,
How'd
so
you
I
get
went
in?
through, and so I was running competitively, and then as I was starting to get out of that and fall out of love with running, cycling was the natural next step, which I found I could just keep doing it and riding faster and going more places. So like in college, I rode from Chicago, Illinois to the University of Illinois, which is 175 miles.
No,
about.
we're doing furlong Firkins. Convert it, please.
But that was in the time before I had a GPS like phone or anything. So I literally used paper maps to navigate my way halfway across the
Yeah,
state.
find a
Illinois.
local library.
Wait,
Go
it was
in.
I thought he was going to say, no, I used my sextant or used the reflection of the sun and measured the
I mean, I
cosine.
effectively used the sun, yes.
I mean, all he was doing was finding the local library, running in there, going into MapQuest, typing out the next few directions, losing the paper as soon as he gets on the bike because the wind has blown it away, and then went to the next library.
Well, you see, the reason Merc and I are looking at you funny, though, is when we go to the library, we could get a photocopy, but they didn't have the computer, so
And
we
then
could
you
use a
look at- yeah,
typewriter
exactly.
or recover it from microfiche
go
and
through
then
the
print it on a
microfiche,
piece
yeah.
of paper.
Had to find the map section.
So you
Make sure it's not old.
So you ride a long way, but you're also a very experienced bicycle mechanic, top to bottom. So, I mean, some of the longer rides you've done bike touring, you've done some racing.
Done some racing. So I raced, cross, criterium. This year I'm going to get more into track racing and mountain bike, racing, but also just lots of mountain bike riding. For the last 2 years, I was living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and riding a lot in the Wasatch Front. That's a mountain range.
Oh, okay.
For
I was
you
going to
Illinois
say.
folks.
Illinois folks, I think all of us were born here and never left.
Riding truck shuttles and chairlifts. What else you need?
I
Yeah,
don't
you guys
know
have
what
no
that
idea what that
means.
is. I get it.
we like to
but,
be able to see the horizon miles away from us because we're afraid it might sneak up on us at any moment.
That's true.
Well, anyhow, before we move on, we're going to hear from our non-sponsor sponsor.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Jeremy, how's the new bike?
Oh, I'll tell you, the wife got me a new set of rubbers, but it's a rough ride.
Jeremy, it is 1910. You need modern solutions to modern problems. Have you tried pneumatic tires?
Pneumatic tires? You mean the ones full of hot air like you, Greg?
No, you blockhead. You can put air in your tires, thereby giving you a nice cushion for all your pushing.
Make bicycles great again. Gee golly, ain't that a spit shine for a cheap dime?
Durricks pneumatic tires.
Half the friction, but make mine a Magnum.
Just what the hell is wrong with you?
We gotta fire the producer.
Yeah, that's me. Okay, hold on. Wait, so, yes. Wait, you can't tell me Durricks pneumatic tires wouldn't be a great company. Speaking of, you should sell that at your new Blockbuster for Crank Revolution.
Blockbuster record.
So for those who don't know, they are all hearing these things for the first time. So yes, that is a place for our sponsor. We're going to make the company, frankly, if they don't exist and pay us.
We have two
So-
options in order to support the podcast: either get sponsors or make our own companies.
Yeah, we'll just So tell us about Durricks pneumatic tires. You want to start here? I assume they're very puncture protective.
Yes, they are, and they're very safe. In fact, they don't pick up any grit from the road.
They're
so
only
that
99.9% effective, though. Just keep that in mind.
we have a special solution in the tubes to help them from sticking to each other
mean,
beforehand, powder or cream.
You guys know latex tubes are a thing.
Yeah,
They're like a real thing.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
we're
why
not
we use the name
racers.
They're
Durricks.
great. They're super great.
Is there ribbed ones? That's all I want to know.
For the mountain bikes. Yeah,
Oh, good.
Wait, would you feel that inside? That you'd feel that in the tire if the tube was ribbed, would you?
coming to the next
Only
YouTube
one way to
video.
find out.
Can we just tie 50 condoms together, blow it up, and get it sponsored by Durricks?
It would be just like the original pneumatic tire. So yes, we should probably do this.
All right, so good. So as you can tell, then we found a way to make this viable. So the reason I stopped, though, so we know about Craig, we know about Mark, we know about Chris, and now they've all said I'm a terrible radio producer. So that's perfect. But no, I am Jeremy, and how I got into cycling was actually through Chris, so through TC. I was one of those people, I didn't do a lot of working out at one point, and I went with my daughter to the Brookfield Zoo. And we're there, and they have this wonderful little scale in the pachyderm exhibit. And my daughter jumps up, and she's like, look it, I'm 45 pounds. And then I jump up on there, and it says 285. And I look at it, the thing, and I'm like, no, it's got to be broken. I look at my daughter, I'm like, it's broken or something. It doesn't read well way up. Oh.
I was hoping you were going to say like you saw a bear riding a small bicycle around.
No.
You're like, I need to do that.
No.
Do that.
Well, I was at 285, and the thing is, I tried running because I used to love running in school. That just blows up your knees. That is just not good. It was really bad. So I kind of walked in and met Chris, and I didn't know a thing in the world, did I?
No,
I
you did
still
not.
don't, which
And you're
is
riding a bike
hilarious.
that did not fit you.
Well, hey, the bike. Okay, that's something. The bike shop sold me a bike, and they're like, "Which bike do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know. You're the bike shop
I
people."
want the green one.
And they said, "Well, that one's on sale." And I went, "Okay, if it's good for me, I'll buy it." And it was for somebody like 6'1" to 6'3". I'm definitely not that. I'm like 6 foot. I just remember
On a good
singing
day.
soprano. Every time I got off my bike, I thought it was a holy experience because it was like, oh, every time I got over the top tube. But so Chris got me into cycling, lost a ton of weight. And ever since, I abandoned all my careers, my fiduciary things that give me money. And now I too work in bike shops. So thank you, Chris. You helped me lose an illustrious and profitable
Yeah.
career. But no, bicycling has brought so much joy to all of our lives. Now we want to bring it to you,
Yeah.
the podcast
pretty
listener.
much.
Yeah.
Why are we going
We're-
NPR
no.
suddenly?
You specifically. Yes, you in the driver's seat. We're talking to you.
Wait, why haven't they, there's no driver's seat in a podcast
They're
studio.
listening to podcasts. They're in the car.
What if they're on their bicycle? There's no driver's
just-
seat on
yeah.
a bicycle.
That just
Yeah.
sounds dangerous, though. With
Well, watch out for that
headphones
pot. Well, hold on. You got a pothole in front of you. Get around that.
They got
Point
the-
it out. Point it out. All right, now keep going.
on? Ooh, etiquette.
Good
I
stuff.
don't
With
point out
etiquette.
potholes when I'm by myself, though. Do you?
Yeah.
Just in
someone
case a
behind
car
me.
sees
Yeah,
one?
you don't
I
know.
did get to the point where I was riding in groups way too often, and then I was signaling while driving my car.
You're just.
I
pointing
swerved out of
your-
the way of a pothole and then definitely put a hand down. And it's like, there's one there. Just so you guys know.
Well,
And
like
then
when
realize
it's,
your hand just went into the fast food bag of your dinner that night.
And when
Like,
it-
oh, that's weird.
and when it's loose gravel, you just see him with his window down, just waving jazz fingers, jazz fingers, jazz fingers. Oh my gosh! I
I'm not
almost
drunk.
spoke
Trust me, that was a pothole.
How do you explain that?
Don't
Whoa.
apologize.
Greg.
He's slapping my leg over here. Look, I know we had a small studio.
That
We're
was
working
a
on our
switch on for
sponsorship.
a cheap dime. I think.
Durricks Pneumatic tires.
I think Greg has to pay Mark for that amount of attention. You want to move yourself maybe 30 degrees left. All right, no. So that's what the show's going to be. We're going to drop them every 2 weeks to start, and we're going to try to get up to weekly for you. But this is going to be for everyone. So for beginners, if you're a pro racer, a crit racer, we're going to get call-ins. We're going to do Skype interviews with bike shops and charities and everything in between. And Greg, you've been doing a lot of stuff on that.
Yeah, I've been meeting with a couple different event organizers around the country, so that'll be fun to get some of their intake in the their input on like where their rides started, because inevitably they always started as like the local group ride, and then suddenly it was like, hey, we have 6,000 people that want to come here every week, this one weekend every year. So it's like, oh yeah, we'll talk to you. We've got some people that are doing Xterra, which seem like
what
really
is
awesome
Xterra?
events.
The hell's
Well, you're gonna have to wait until we get to that part.
No. Or you could just give our listeners some reason to tune
as
in
a
next
what
week.
Yeah,
for
You're like,
Xterra-
awesome
they
things
can tune in
someday.
next
Won't tell
week.
you when. It's fine.
They can
just
tune in. Tune into the next one, and I'll tell you about it.
But see, you don't tune into a podcast. They don't have the radio dials you have to fine tune. But they
I'm not good with.
Is that where
Technology
tune in came
words.
from?
Yeah.
tune it. I used to dial
Seriously?
in my television.
Oh.
UHF. You had to turn it to the channel.
It's that
and then
movie with
dial your...
Weird Al, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was the greatest.
That was a
ever.
great movie.
That's actually
was a
where
good one.
UHF came from.
Ah,
Before that,
okay,
they
good.
didn't. They had
That
no
didn't
idea
exist.
what.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Did you think that
Are
your
you
name was
implying
remote
that
control?
UHF as a frequency was designed after UHF
After
the
Weird Al
movie?
Yankovic.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Greg. I'm sorry. That's just not how things work in life.
Why are you looking at me that way? No, I'm right.
No, you're wrong. So let's go around bikes for a minute, though, because we all have a huge amount of bike collection. So if you are a gravel rider, you'll definitely hear from stuff. Greg has done some gravel lately.
One or two little bits of gravel. I was just actually up in.
Well, name your
Almanzo.
bits. Tell us about your bits.
You have names for your
It's really a
bits?
terrible.
Oh God! I just thought of a great commercial ad for us, Jeremy. This past
Pneumatic
weekend,
tires.
I was just up in Minnesota this past weekend, where I was supposed to do Almanzo, but unfortunately, due to a time constraint, had to just trade down to Malonzo. But it was still a good time anyway. Haven't done
Malonzo
that.
was right next door. Why did you skip all the way to Malonzo?
It's easier.
Okay. Anyhow, concede. Go. Let's hear your intake.
Oops. Sorry. Suddenly we got stuff falling out of our ceiling. We really got to start getting sponsors soon. So I've done Almanzo once. This year I did the Malonzo. In the past I did the Rough Road Metric Century down in Morris, Illinois. I've done Barry Roubaix. I've done... Why is someone calling.
Really?
Really,
I'm sorry.
Greg? If it's on silent, you just let it vibrate. That's the amount of attention you were getting from Mark just a minute ago. Just
exactly.
let it all
That's
happen.
why I
You're
had-
having a great
I'm
physical
sorry,
time on
I'm
an
sorry,
audio
I'm sorry.
podcast, man.
Sorry, Dad.
So anyhow, did you do Dirty Genza?
I was getting there. I was
Yeah, we'll
trying to
get back
read-
on topic.
Okay, fine.
Don't look at your
Yeah.
text messages, Greg.
No, but thank you, Jeremy. Yes, I did DK 200 actually last year. Had a great time, and I'm looking forward to trying to attempt the DK XL at some point in the future.
Oh, I've heard about that. That's just longer.
That's
and worse.
350 miles or so.
Oh.
Because
Sounds
because
terrible.
despite what everyone always says, like Kansas has got to be the flattest state or it's boring to look at. I never got bored looking at the scenery around there. So I imagine if I put in another
Why not
150 miles, it'd be
ride
great.
like the 200 really fast and not just sit and saddle all day for 350?
Well, that
well,
we
no,
erased
it's
that.
2 days.
Yeah.
It's 2 days, sir.
2
I leave the day
days.
before for it.
Do
Well, I'm
do
sorry.
issue
Greg
you-
needs preparation
Like,
time.
are you sleeping between these 2 days, or is
Oh,
it
no,
just like cocaine fueled, just hammer fast?
Why can't you do both?
Wait, did you
No,
say
no, no,
Because you can't.
Yeah.
Yes, I did say
They don't
cocaine.
drug test at gravel events, apparently.
They do.
Yeah, well, UCI is not involved too much in it, so yes, there's ways to get around it. No, but what it is, it's supposed to be like not really entry, or a beginner, but it's a mass ultra endurance event that cyclists are getting into for them. So they leave like 3:00 the day before, and they finish roughly around the same time that everybody else is finishing. The
So for
200.
everyone who's a beginner listener and a beginner rider, you can hear the heck you're in for.
Also, can we just
Center
pause on the
round.
term mass ultra endurance event? Just
That's
ultra
just-
endurance should not exist for the masses, right? That's how that.
Well,
term
it's-
exists.
Well, we
you
would
can
all
be-
die of heart attacks, maybe.
But
The
you
American
can be there
diet.
at the rollout. You get to see like, wow, all these people are looking really great. They're looking very alert. And then you see them during your 200 event. You go, you look like you want to
they're
die.
Yeah, it says the man that drank out of his own shoe after doing like 200 miles and walking through rivers full of cholera.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, is it
did-
cholera? Wait, is
Yeah, I
get-
think you're.
Giardia.
Giardia,
No,
yeah,
no,
Giardia.
I think it was you were on the Oregon Trail and you had cholera.
No, the Polygon.
You're
Trail.
dead.
I drank out of my shoe twice that day, for the record.
Yeah,
Once
why?
was a Coke.
Why? Bad.
Why would
Greg.
you drink a
Bad.
Coke out of your shoe?
Why?
Because it was
Bad
mile
Greg.
160 and I needed something to keep me going, and I was really tired. It was-
But there's
Then
more
why'd you
effort to
shoe?
remove your shoe
You could
to put it in
stab
the shoe as
yourself
opposed-
in the leg, and that would be better than drinking out of a sweaty shoe.
not really if I have to pedal.
What
I
if
mean,
you
if I
had to
stab
put-
myself in the leg,
what
that's
if you-
going to hamper my cycling.
And what was in the shoe, Greg?
No, I can tell you.
Coke,
you
I
can
just
you can
said.
stab yourself
So
in the leg
sticky.
and it doesn't hamper
So
your
you put
cycle.
your foot back in, and it's going to stick there, and you're going to have all the ants and all the bacteria just soaking up Coca-Cola.
If
What is
ants are
wrong with
keeping
you?
up to me
confused.
on the
Where's the
bicycle, I'm going to
bottle?
be so surprised.
Drink out of the bottle that it
out of
came
the
in.
receptacle that it
Coca-Cola
was you
doesn't
in.
come in bottles anymore, Merc.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does.
Only from the Mexican restaurant.
No, it
why,
doesn't.
Why not?
When was
You're
the last
just
time
a
you went to
glass
the grocery
bottle. Okay,
store?
we're
Oh, wait,
we're-
let me
we're-
pull a
we're-
Greg here. Let me just check my text messages. Hey, Siri wants to tell us what is kitchen and craft. Okay, wait. No, you guys talk.
Yeah, you're bad. Come on, bad radio host here.
Oh no, that's never mind. I just got another videography gig. So anyhow, back to Merc.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think? Would you want to drink a Coke out of your own shoe,
Oh,
even after
thank
1
God,
mile?
I thought you were going to say out
Not
of his shoe.
500 miles. No, I wouldn't even do that. That's
No.
just
Oh
terrible.
God,
you go.
no. That just sounds. Ooh,
Hey,
that-
oh wait.
Oh.
I will put
Bushmoy.
scotch in that shoe. Will you drink
Why?
scotch?
Oh,
out of your shoe?
no.
Why
God,
are we
no.
ruining Scotch?
Yeah.
Because the bacteria is not going to grow.
Correct.
Why
on
are we
scotch.
ruining Scotch?
My
It's
shoe,
only
Well,
a
it could be
30
bad
year.
Scotch.
time out. My shoe already has a pretty peaty taste, so you don't really want to put scotch in my shoe.
Well, all right. Well, we'll use a 15-year and we'll just get some more aging out of it.
No, but it was ridiculous though for the Coke that I drank out of the shoe. I had to carry that Coke for like 30 miles in order to get to that point because
That's just terrible.
Salsa is this big thing at some of the events where they'll take your picture on this chase, and I was
Chase
like,
the chase.
I want to drink something out of it, and the last thing I want to do is drink more of the goo Roctane that I've
You're a
got in
terrible
my
actor.
bottle.
You could just tilt the shoe up as if you were drinking out of it.
This
You
is
didn't
true.
actually do it. There's special effects, Greg. There are special effects. You think the
You can
Avengers are
Photoshop
real?
it.
Yeah.
No.
What?
No. But I love this because, wait, no. In the world of racing, like TC here,
Yeah.
you'll spend $10,000 to shave half the weight of a can of Coke on your bike. And this,
I mean, I won't, but people
well,
do.
yeah,
Right.
people do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
here
but you
I'm carrying
haul
it for
for
30
fun.
miles, thinking this is going to be a great time.
Yeah, just do it for
Drink
fun.
This is going to be delicious at this time.
Oh, it's even better is afterwards I'm doing the last bits to the finish line, and I'm texting my buddy who had to bow out because he just could not keep up the pace that day. And I was like, hey, could you make sure there's a beer for me at the finish line? He goes, yeah, what kind do you want? I was like, I genuinely don't care. And I get to the finish, and he goes, he hands me
Life.
an actual bottle. No, it was
Oh,
Goose
champagne
Island,
beers.
actually. And I was like, how the hell am I going to open? I've got a cleat. pop, and I was like, this is great.
And then you removed your shoe at the same time.
Well, yeah, it just worked out.
obviously. Yeah, God.
And then promptly poured the beer back into the other shoe.
Wait, no, Chris is a walking comic. How does he respond? Scoff. Go. Blam.
But what's even funnier is before I can even tip it back to drink, the beer is coming out of the air holes in the side of the thing.
Well, that means it's a good shoe.
Yeah,
Summertime,
then
warm weather shoe.
I have to say though, that beer is pretty damn good.
I'm sure it would have been better.
After
if it
18
wasn't in
hours
the
of
shoe.
riding, 21 hours of being awake that day, it was a really good beer.
It would have been just fine out of the bottle. Yeah.
I didn't want to take the risk. What if I chipped my tooth because my hands were still shaking from
Then
not
just
fully
don't put it in
recovering.
your mouth.
But then I want the beer.
Just drop it.
How
back
did
to
you
bed.
survive this long without injury if you can't figure out how to do basic things?
Where Chris
You want to be alone through all the woods of America, running from bears?
Chris's body is just a natural, he can do any sport he wants and it kicks ass at it.
Not lacrosse.
My digestive system just
Not play lacrosse.
Damn it.
my
Get that
GI
Kalen
system
going.
just turns everything into ash and I'll survive it. So it's sweet, let's bike across the country. I'll eat all of the roller food that's at the gas station and I won't get sick. No, I'm not actually going to attempt that. That sounds like a
Why
terrible
not?
idea.
Oh, man, roller food's great for bike tour.
Yeah. Well, Chris and I
Pop-Tart
bike
peanut butter
tour.
jelly sandwiches.
So when we were on tour, though, it was great because, I'm type 2 diabetic, which means don't eat carbs, don't do things like that. But when you
Except
put
when you're on
yourself
bikes.
through,
Keep sugar away.
when you start doing 60, 80 miles a day, your body doesn't care anymore. It just becomes a well-oiled, normal machine for once. So we were, one night we had Taco Bell.
Yeah, so this was our fifth or sixth
Fifth or
night.
sixth.
We were in Ukiah, California, staying at a
even know what
hotel
that is.
that the motorcycle gang that we had met up with
Oh,
mid-ride had told us to
yeah.
go to because they were the least sketchy in town.
The motorcycle gang is always least sketchy.
Actually,
They're like
no.
TripAdvisor for
This
cyclists.
was the least sketchy hotel in town.
Oh,
Hold on,
okay,
going
good.
back, isn't that the same time that that Anarchy
Yeah,
show
Sons of
was made?
Anarchy was going
Are
on.
you
Yeah.
sure that it wasn't just the cast members
It might
messing
have
with you
been.
guys the whole time?
I mean, they were in leather cuts and whatnot, and he was wearing a kilt, so we all got along real well.
Yeah. So in the kill too. And look at Charlie Dunham in Sons of Anarchy, and look at Chris. He would have simply been hired
Actually, yeah, it would've been-
instantly for
we
the
would've
show.
been
So,
bros. And then I would have gotten on Pacific Rim, and life would have been complete.
instead
back
of
to
getting stuck on this podcast, all right, let's just shame everyone.
But no, back to so we're in this super sketchy hotel, and we got Taco Bell, McDonald's,
Jack in the
wings,
Box or something. Yeah.
we got 4 or 5 different
Smorgasbord of fast food.
of fast food, and just proceeded to eat ourselves into a coma.
Yeah, and it did nothing to my blood sugar. But the
Yeah,
worst part is, though, Chris falls asleep, but he wakes up when I snore, so he falls asleep first. Imagine what happens to your intestinal system when you don't normally eat carbs and you eat 5 fast foods at once.
I'm imagining you sounded like the Battle of the Bulge.
Well, I picked up a lot of speed the next day, but I'm pretty sure the smell. I mean, if it was a cartoon, it'd be that green haze coming in and wafting into his nostrils.
Hopefully nobody lit a match after that.
Well, no, the problem is that if you check TripAdvisor since then, they've actually barred that room. No one's allowed to
done.
stay in it since then.
Oh, but yeah, that trip there, that was I was up with you from San Fran to Portland. You started in Mexico to Vancouver.
Yeah,
What are you
San
gonna
Diego
do,
just
Merc? What's
border.
your big long distance plan for any year?
For any year?
Yeah. What did you guys do in the 60s?
Drugs.
Drugs. Lots of drugs. Not really that old, but yeah.
No, I know. So no, what big plans do you want to
My big plans are I'm doing a ride from this area, Aurora, where I live, down to Peoria, Illinois, to
That's a
visit
gross
in-laws.
I live here and I've
worst
never done it.
Peoria?
Have you ever been to Peoria?
I don't know.
You know
Oh,
who's not
you know,
gonna be
I
a
don't feel-
sponsor? There's Hiorama or whatever he said.
There's some cool shops. There's some decent mountain biking trails around there.
There's
For
actually-
the area.
yeah, there
Bless
is-
your heart, the guy who's never been mountain biking.
So tell us.
I know.
Peoria. It's just my in-laws are down there, so I decided, why not take a ride down there and listen to everyone bitch at me because why'd you ride your bike all the way down there?
because
Yeah,
I gotta-
why does everyone think that's so strange? I
I
get that all
know.
the time too. Like, oh, what's wrong with you? Poor?
Yeah,
Well, no, this is a
exactly.
$4,000 bicycle.
I got a couple of trips going up to Wisconsin planned out this year.
Oh, Wisconsin's
Nice.
beautiful to ride
Yeah.
in. That's one
Oh.
of my favorites compared to Illinois. Sorry, Illinois. They're not going to sponsor us either.
Or
Durricks
Oregon.
condoms will, apparently.
My favorite one that's
Hiles.
coming up
Hiles.
coming up soon is my trip down to in Tennessee. Ride the Smoky Mountains down in Tennessee for a week. It was really nice down there.
It's very hilly down there.
It's just a little bit.
Well, they're mountains, so they're like bigger than hills.
Are they real mountains? I mean, you've been
The
to real
Smoky
mountains, real
Mountains.
mountains.
The Smoky Mountains,
are real
yeah.
mountains.
Do you feel that they are like worldwide as good as the Alps?
So,
and
like,
all
I've-
the
But
famous
but
ones?
I'm gonna be in the foothills. I'm not gonna be in the actual Smoky Mountains. So just before
I don't know
you,
what any of these places are.
just
So you're
before-
looking
Jeremy,
at me
you
like
lived in
you're
the plains for
explaining it
way
to
too
me.
long. You need to understand how the world works. It's
just
not
before
just a flat
you get
surface.
into like the big mountains, it's the little ones.
Little mountains.
The little
That's what I was
mountains.
saying. So they're not
Like a
they're
knoll?
Yeah,
half
they're not
mountains.
the Alps.
They're the
not
bunny
the
mountains.
Rockies.
The bunny mountains.
They are. I mean, Pishka, I think is like a 9,000-foot peak, which
Yeah.
is one of the biggest in that range. So yeah, they're not huge, but they're spread out though. They're long and wide.
Yes, it's
like hills instead of mountains.
Well, no, like
Like
the
a
mountain
knoll.
range.
When
goes
does
very
like a knoll
far.
stop being
like
a
a
mountain?
dale.
The bicyclist who walked up a hill but came down a mountain. No one
Wow,
else knows
that's-
Hugh Grant's.
Yeah, I got
Jeez,
that
no.
one. Yeah,
Wait,
that was
his
bad,
middle
though.
name is like Moses or something crazy. I heard. Not Moses. Darn it. He's got the coolest
where
middle
are you
name.
Totally
going
lost
with
on the
this?
segue.
It doesn't matter. I got that stuck in my
What
head.
are you
Chris got a
What I was explaining the Appalachian Mountain Range and
Yeah,
Pishka and
yeah, but
the
I haven't
Smoky
been to
Mountains,
any
yeah.
of those places.
And then you started talking about Hugh Grant.
yes, because it popped in my mind because the Englishman who walked
But you
up
know
a
what?
hill and came
Hey,
down
Greg,
a mountain.
there's really good mountain biking in Pishka.
Okay.
I just like saying that name, Pishka.
Pishka. And Brevard. Yeah, it's all around there.
But yes, Greg,
See,
you're,
I wouldn't-
you're right about Peoria. There is some phenomenal mountain biking down there.
Thank you, Merc. Thank you, Merc.
Can we say
Hey, he's
trail
got
riding?
his Mark cred right now.
Oh, right. He's on
Can
my
I-
side. Thank you, Mark.
Can I put an asterisk on this? If it's not on a mountain, it shouldn't be called mountain biking.
Cross country,
Trail riding.
trail riding.
Trail riding in Illinois.
Like my Rails to Trails thing that I'll be riding on across the
Oh.
country.
That would be multi-track trail. This would be single track trail.
You had to Google it, didn't you?
I told you.
Why are we going back to Hugh Grant?
Because he has the coolest name in the world, Hugh John Mungo Grant. So
Mungo
he talks
Jerry?
about mountains. I think of the Englishman who walked up a hill but came down a mountain.
And then I'm
now
thinking of
you know
Mungo
his middle
Jerry
name is
now.
Mungo. That was
Mungo.
useful for all of our listeners.
Mungo is just a pawn in the game of life.
What did we just now say? Movie quotes? Yeah. Should we try different accents?
Reality can be whatever I want.
What kind of accent can you do, TC?
No, I'm just not going to.
No, you can
I
try.
refuse.
You can but you-
Scoff.
You just yes.
He's a-
okay.
What about you, Jeremy? What's your big plan?
My big plan. I don't know that I have a big plan. We haven't made any awesome big plans other than trying to get this bike shop and media stuff going.
Mhm. I mean, you do have some big plans for this year.
What
We're
do
doing
I not
before and
know?
after.
What is he
before and
got,
after
TC?
plans.
Oh yes. Well,
It's
yeah.
like, wait a minute. What did I have?
Well, no. No, that is true. That is true. Because the first time I went from like 285 down to 200. Then over the winter, I allowed myself to get back up to 230. And now I have to get down to 180 because it turns out some diseases are progressive. Diabetes is like, you lose 80 pounds. Oh, your blood sugar's great. Then now you have to lose 80 more, 50 more. And every year it just catches up to you. So, yes, I have to do a huge
You have
training
to lose
regimen.
weight at a logarithmic scale.
Kind
That's
of
incredible.
exponentially. At some point, I'll just be Ant-Man, for God's sakes. But so TC here is going to actually set up a training regimen. Now, last time I was riding about 150 miles a week when I was doing that.
Well, you built up to that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but 4 or 5 weeks in, that was kind of became the range. I'm sure you've got a much more punishing thing in mind.
I mean,
Was I mean to you recently?
Remember
No.
to say sorry.
no.
Apologize a lot to him right now.
sorry.
No,
Hey, I'm
I'm
Canadian,
attempting
sorry.
to help you conquer your goal.
I was going to say conquer your weight. Does be like,
Wow.
well, I need to, but thanks.
So that just
shameful
means it's
coach.
going to be, yeah, like you just got to hold my wheel. That's just what it is.
But you don't give
Good
me
luck.
a draft. Try to draft off this guy. How much do you weigh?
I'm about 150 pounds.
So if
Your
you're in
waist
front
is
of me
like
behind
a
me-
29. Jeremy's a
I
little
can-
more than a 34.
I could fit 2 TCs in my pants. Not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but going to that, we're going to go with a tech tip from TC and what's in your mechanics mouth.
Oh,
What's in your mechanics?
sack.
In your mechanics sack?
From the mechanic's mouth.
From the mechanics mouth. So from the mechanics mouth.
Now, this question comes from our boy Richard in Oklahoma. You see, his wife got him a new bicycle. He saddled it up, he went out on the road, and the damn brakes were squealing. So he rolled back to his old barn, opened up, found old Betsy and old Schwinn, and her damn brakes were squealing too. So tell us, TC, what can a man do?
I've always loved this question, especially when I was working for a major bike brand as their customer service team, and we get emails saying, "How do I stop my brakes from squeaking?" Because, yeah, talk to a mechanic is obviously the answer, and like bring it to your bike shop. Because so what causes disc brakes to squeak? There's a lot of
much.
possible answers. Mice. So one of my friends in the bike shop world used to, anytime someone had a problem with like anything on their bike, she'd be like, "Hey, so you know what's going on there? You had the feral mice got in there and they ate your bearings away, and so you need a new bottom bracket now." Yeah, the feral mice came in, they ate the bottom bracket. It's no good.
Yeah, no, that
And
seems legit.
it would be great because he would say this straight face to people, and they would just drop and just what. So back to disc brakes, because that's a really
How
fun
many people
segue.
went home and called work?
Oh yeah, it was very confusing. It was excellent.
honey, they're ruining my bicycle.
But so disc brakes and what causes disc brakes to squeal most commonly is contamination. So
Yeah.
personally, I had one of my bikes that I put on my car, drove through 30 minutes worth of rain to go to a ride, and then hopped on, and they were squealing to no end.
What'd you get on it?
Road grit, grime, whatever, because I drove through rain for 30 minutes.
You don't cover your brakes in surgical gloves when you
I
drive?
don't own. Look, there are products made to cover these things in transit. So what I do when this happens is you just pedal for a little bit with your brakes slightly engaged. So when you have a brand new set of brakes or anything, this say burnish or burn-in period is what
Bet
you're
'em in.
discussing. Yeah, so you bed them in. So if you can ride with the brakes slightly engaged, you look like a fool because you're powering pedal, and going absolutely nowhere because your brakes
All
are
the watts,
engaged.
bro.
But that helps to heat the brakes up, heat the brake pads up, get everything to wear together. So yeah, it's exceptionally important on a new disc brake, new pads, new rotors kind of setup. But also if you have a little bit of corrosion from a short trip through the rain, this will help to clear everything off, get everything kind of nice, neat, and clean now.
So my question is, the one that happens all the time, a guy comes in and goes, "My brakes are squeaking, they're squeaking." I'm like, "Where are they squeaking?"
Mm-hmm.
He reaches down with his bare hand, sometimes wiping his sweaty forehead.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you just take your finger, rub it in the side of your nose, see how that oil feels, and then starts grabbing and rubbing the brake, and then going, "I don't understand why they're squeaking."
Yep, exactly. And that would be direct contamination.
So just don't touch it.
So just don't touch it.
Touch your brakes.
But if you do want to spray it down and fully clean it, what do you want to use?
WD-40.
Napalm.
No WD-40. No.
Napalm? No.
Isopropyl alcohol is one of the best brake cleaners.
What
to
percent?
use.
70 or 92?
Yes.
Go 92.
Spirit Juice or Everclear?
Ooh.
No, that's not isopropyl.
Goldschlager. Is that what the pros
That's
use?
no. Goldschlager?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have
There's
a lot
gold
of
in that. You don't
contamination.
wanna
There would
do
be a
that.
lot of gold, and there would also be a lot of sugar.
Gold is never contamination. No one gets angry and goes, "I'm contaminated with gold."
Okay,
That doesn't
sugar
happen.
should be a problem in this instance.
Yeah, but gold does not belong on a disc brake rotor.
So
or pedal.
touching it, driving
Touching it,
uncovered.
driving on it.
Now you can't tow disc brakes, so really the only thing you can do then,
So-
I've heard you can spray them with alcohol and then rub them with sandpaper to kind of get any contamination.
You would
in the
want to
pads.
rotate that process if you were going to. You would want to sand them first and then clean them after.
Okay.
Yes.
But you should clean the rotor and the pads.
Well, so my favorite way of cleaning the rotor and the pads is to, in a spray bottle, have isopropyl alcohol, spray down the rotor, spin it through because there will naturally be isopropyl alcohol going from the rotor to the pad as you do that.
You hope so if they're touching.
Now, when you do spray down your rotors and pads with isopropyl alcohol, they're going to squeal immediately after.
Like a pig.
So don't be
Like a
afraid
piggy.
if it's squealing.
So yeah, and then if you go through that quick little burnish, and it's something where, yeah, I set a mile at the start, and that's for that full brand new rotor and pad setup. When you've just cleaned it, you can do it for 5 seconds, and it typically goes away. Now, if it's exceptionally bad, like you can have mineral fluid or dot fluid, which is the hydraulic brake lines. That fluid can get really embedded into those
Soaked
pads
in like a sponge.
And you can go through and you can try and torch the brake pads, which is always fun to do. Now, don't torch them too much because you can melt the adhesive, which mounts the brake pad material to the backing. You can melt that.
So I should torch it though while it's still on the bike.
No, remove it from the bike.
Okay.
You don't want to torch anything.
I should
See, I'm one of those people that needs to be told to take the plastic wrap off the
This is
frozen
true.
pizza.
And this is
before I
also
put
why
it in
you
the
should
oven.
always bring these things to a mechanic, or have a mechanic kind of work with you and show you kind of what to do and how to do it in a more hands-on way than just going home and torching your bike.
I often like to go near my bearskin rug, get in front of the fireplace, set up my bike skin, and you're saying I should just spray the bike in all the containing area with alcohol.
What kind of alcohol?
Isopropanol in front of the fireplace.
Well, not isopropanol.
Okay, isopropyl.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
In front of the fireplace, is that good?
Well
I mean,
ventilated. Maybe not directly at the fireplace.
Is the fume open?
What am I wearing?
I feel like you're Burt Reynolds wearing nothing.
We just lost Mark.
So smoking jacket, bicycle, isopropyl alcohol. Now you know how to fix your brain.
Yeah, just the mustache and then a glass of milk at some point, right? That was the Burt Reynolds 1996 update of that.
So if it's squealing, hit it with alcohol. If it doesn't
Well, if
stop,
it's
replace the
squealing-
pads.
So if it's squealing, number one, try and go through a quick burnish period. If that doesn't do it, then you can try and wash it and go through a burnish period. If it persists, at that point, you probably need to replace something because that contamination's pretty deep.
So what is the official of that again now?
From the mechanic's mouth.
All right, so it's not in the mechanic's mouth. It's the two mechanics in your pants.
That's
that
a
we
completely
started with.
different podcast. It's a different website. It's not
After
bike related.
Crank Revolution After Hours. Just
Crank
David
Revolution,
Hasselhoff
18
running in slow motion as we all talk in front of a TV. It'd be great.
Oh, that's terrible thought.
Why is that terrible? The Hoff is great.
Not anymore.
It's been a few
really?
years.
He's-
Kind of
his
out
goal-
of his prime.
Talking about dad
He did
bod.
topple the Berlin Wall, though. Let's
Yes, he
That
did.
is a very valid point.
If you know anything about history, he was solely responsible for the fall
solely
of Germany.
responsible.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. It was him and Reagan. They were jamming in a recording session.
Yeah,
one
and
day.
he was in like the black
It was
leather
like
jacket from
knock
Knight
down
Rider.
this
Yeah.
wall, and then he did a huge riff, and the whole wall came crashing down.
David Hasselhoff was the Shatner of music in that time.
So was Shatner.
Well, so yeah,
But
exactly.
He was never
So is
big. He was
Shatner.
never big here, though. He was only big in Germany.
So
is
I
what
heard that Schaffner's way into bikes.
Schaffner.
Actually, no, I didn't. I just want to bring it back to like what we're supposed to be talking about.
Wait. Now I gotta Google it. Hold on. You guys find something to talk
I mean,
about.
like for celebrities that were like, so Robin Williams had a fantastic bike collection.
Awesome bike collection.
Awesome bike collection.
And it was just one story. It was really sad, like as he passed, to like go through it and like all of those bikes I would love to have that I could just never attain.
Well, they auctioned all of them off, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well-
did you see the prices on all of them?
Sell one of your bikes. You could have bought it.
I don't know about that.
I thought that as Jeremy was going into Greg that we were going to like start listing off what bikes we have, and I was like, we only have 45 minutes.
That's true.
far
That's like
too many
no,
bikes
wait.
for this.
I love though how he's saying, "Oh, Robin Williams had bikes I could never have." Yeah, maybe because of their rarity or clarity or some weird things.
Yeah.
But
Clarity?
like, you have a tarmac with Ready Tap, and then you have another tarmac that's a Tourmac and has like
Can we-
super
You're just lazy with
record.
your group sets. You don't
gotta
want to
find-
change it, but you like the
I
frame.
would like to correct this though. They're not just tarmacs; they're S-Works tarmacs.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
so
okay.
that's
Could you put
yeah,
a little bit more flair on the
little bit more
pretentiousness on that one?
S-Works.
Aren't we talking to the
S-Works
man that
ready.
will never ride 105?
Yes, that's
I
true.
didn't say
You did say that
never.
once.
I just like
Never. You say it like a question. Did
I
I?
have my first real like getting into cycling bike was a 105 cross bike, 2008 Fuji Cross Comp that Jeremy knows rather well.
There's a
Yeah,
bucket
I
next to
got
you if
it
you feel like you're going to
stolen.
get sick.
I think I got it. I
You
actually
got it stolen?
Well,
You called the guy like, hey, I got this
no.
bike we're going to steal.
No, I tried to get other people into cycling, and it got stolen. Which is really sad, though, because that was the one that I did the tour on. So I was actually really heartbroken about that, but it forced me to get new bikes, which is always a good thing.
I think that's one bike goes to new bikes plural.
Yeah. But no, actually...
Well, that's how bikes are made. There's osmosis. They just split in half, and now you have two bikes.
Well, now you can just see how absolutely... We don't, yeah. So Mungo, that's the last thing I'm thinking of.
You're
so
still
now
on
that we
that.
only have like 5 minutes left in this entire show, let's get back to beginners. So everyone that heard a lot of words or nomenclature that you have no clue what they mean, like, oh, you won't ride less than 105. If you know what that is, don't worry. We'll catch you up because next week we're actually going to be talking a little bit about what it takes to get into cycling and how cycling with tons of other people and listening to things like this can really get you on a cool place in life.
Yeah.
So since we only have 4 minutes and Greg is, what did you fart?
No, it's wrong. It's you finished your drink, and suddenly I feel like I could just had a burp come flying at me. It's like, oh, I'm sitting next to the air purifier. Like everything should be fine where I'm sitting. And so when I smell something bad, it's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, well, it must be. Although if I fart, it would get sucked in right underneath.
Oh, you bet.
Anyhow, so since we have a few minutes, let's see. If I said Dr. McDreamy, who would that be?
Aren't we going to tell all the nice folks
We are
out there?
going
what
to
we're-
in just one moment, but just
Are
real
you
quick.
going with celebrities that
Celebrity
that ride?
cyclists? Yes. Name if I said Dr. McDreamy.
Oh, he's like so
None of
into
us
the
are
engine tour of
into
California
Yeah,
too.
he is.
Bradley Cooper.
Nope. All right, that would be Patrick Dempsey. But
There we go.
anyhow, What we were going to get into, though, so there's a lot of different things we can teach you from beginner all the way advanced, and there's a lot of adventures we're going to bring you. Definitely subscribe to our channel, which currently is Crank Revolution Media. So since we only have now 4 minutes.
On where?
Everyone knows YouTube. No, where else would you look for it than YouTube? Is there a video site you watch? Blockbuster.com?
Vimeo.
Vimeo?
Vimeo?
That's a thing.
I'm not that artistic. So let's go around the table real quick. What are some of your bikes? Let's go to Chris first. TC. Because now we need to add 45 minutes to the show. Can you do it real
Tarmacs,
fast like in a song?
Vans.
Like
No, just record it.
Rap
and
it. Can you rap it?
My most one of my favorite bikes is my Soma Triple Cross. So it's a
Soma.
stainless steel raw frame. That's the bike that I took on Bike Tour. It's the bike that I raced at Crusher and the Tusher in 2000.
Why does this sound far more dirty than it is?
2018,
Crusher and the
which is
Tusher?
a 72-mile gravel race with about 10,000 feet of climb. It's totally brutal, but it's totally a lot of fun. Totally.
Better than 350 at Dirty Conzo.
That's true. Because I like. Why do you want to just sit on a bike all day long? Let's go up and down, make it difficult. Couple Bromptons, number of mountain
So those
bikes.
are folding bikes for
Bromptons
those
are-
not in the know.
How many of those Bromptons are in your garden apartment at the moment?
Oh, so no,
How many
both
of them
my
are in the
Bromptons
garden
live
if they're
in
English?
California, and my family who has a place out there, that's what they use for transportation. They take a cab from LAX to their place and then just live on the Bromptons.
Can you say a lorry instead? Because I feel
No,
like
we're in Merca.
I have a new theory that every time Chris leaves a place that he's living at, he just leaves
Just
a bike
leaves a bike
behind,
there.
and the bike is
Just a random
so it's like
one.
when the old lady dies, and it's like, yes, the cats actually own the house, you just live here.
But yeah, I'm at about 25 to 30 bikes.
Okay,
right
so
now.
why don't you just tell us the bikes you don't have?
That'd be a little easier. But yeah,
Do you have a clown bike?
what's a clown bike?
I don't know. A tricycle. Do you have a tricycle?
I don't
a
have. I
Beanie
don't
Herman
currently have a
bike?
tricycle.
Do you have a
I
delivery
don't have a
sleigh
cruiser.
wagon? I'm just making things
Do you have
up
a
now.
bartender bike or a
I
bar
have,
bike?
I have a bar bike. Well, I have two bar bikes actually.
well, not a
So-
bike that you ride to the bar, but a bike that is a
that
bar.
is a bar. No,
Oh, I'm thinking a segment later.
So we can just see, though, TC has no actual real bikes then. He doesn't have any of the fun ones.
road, track, mountain, cross, touring, gravel. I got all those covered.
Yeah, but
Folding.
you don't have a bike that's a bar.
You don't have a bar bike. Yeah.
Do you have one that's
Do you have
also
a bike
an
that's a bar?
entertainment?
Do you have
I
a bike
drink
that's
on
a
the
bar?
bike.
Yes, if I'm on a bike, that bike is a bar. Let's face it.
I have to put a flask on my tarmac.
I'm thinking that we have to develop that.
Come in next week.
We's a strong word
No,
there.
let's go to Merc. Merc, what are your top two bikes? What are your two top two?
My Ridley Noah. And
Didn't even know.
a Ridley Noah. And I have a OEM, which is an original manufacturer bike. It has no name on it. That is my
What does
favorite
the E
frame.
stand for? O, other.
OEM is original equipment manufacturer.
Equipment, thank you. I couldn't remember. So it's a no name bike that I built up, and it's probably one of my favorite bikes to ride.
Because you built it. It's
Yeah.
like
But
your
not your
baby.
Noah that Andre Greipel won so many races on.
It's
bike.
a tough. It
He might
is
have
a
the
tough
exact
one.
frame. Did you steal it?
And
from
Andre
him?
Greipel, by
No,
the way, is
Andre
a professional bike
Greipel
racer.
is taller than me, but rides a smaller frame than me.
Yes, he
but-
does. As most pros do with their
Yeah.
silly 130 negative 12 stems that are just totally brutally aggressive.
And then I have a gravel bike that is kind of fun to ride.
Well, gravel's fun. That's like
Yeah.
the fastest growing thing in the world. And Greg, of course, just has like the worst gravel bike.
With the Breezer radar?
No! No! And it
Another
is not the
non-sponsor.
worst. That is not the worst. What do you got there, buddy? What's in your garage?
I've got the Salsa Via as my.
That is
pretty
actually
much
an
all
awesome bike.
go-to
It's
bike
held
for
up.
everything.
It's held up for you. And you've toured on it now in Washington, more like dodged forest fires. But
Yep.
Well, it looked really good in the back of the Dodge Caravan as we were driving across the
With
state for bike
face
tour.
masks. A lot of that. I'll put up some photos from that in the podcast notes. But yeah, it did look like it was like a zombie apocalypse. We're driving next to mountains. You couldn't see mountains, but we were wearing like N95 zombie masks.
Well, this
and
was in the summer of
yeah.
2018 when the entire state of Washington was on fire.
Yeah, it was.
We'll talk more about that one actually next week because that was a heck of an adventure and showing how even you, with your best planning in the world, can muck it all up really quickly.
Damn you, Mother Nature!
there's
You
nothing
made an
you
enemy
can do.
today.
So you got your Via. What's your second favorite most bike? Most favorite bike? Favorite most bike?
Something like that.
Yeah, one of those two.
Damn it, say it.
I'm kind of ashamed to say it, just because
Uh-oh.
it's because of the paint job.
Is it the Goose Island
the
bike?
Goose Island
that you
soul
won from
bike.
like Benny's? No, come on.
All right, it looks so cool.
Somebody
Have
take
you
away
ridden it? Because
Specialized.
it rides like garbage.
Oh no, I'm never
Those
going to
bikes
ride that.
built.
I
Have
think
you
it just sits
tasted
on the
Goose
wall.
Island? That might be a sponsor. Never
yeah.
mind.
The official beer of Greg's show. Yeah, no, and the other one that I'm really proud of then would have to be my Specialized Roubaix that I built up myself. It was the first bike I ever got to build. And
Oh, an amazing bike.
What's
fun
the
bike.
paint color on that one? It's acid mint
taupe?
I was my brain went Celeste. No,
No, it's
don't say
acid
that.
mint.
Don't say that.
because it's one of
Yankee
two
Candle?
acid mint carbon bikes that Specialized ever made, and I've got the other one.
Oh, buddies
Air high five,
for
buddy.
life. My buddies. Yeah, we're going to definitely do a 80 segment with that. But
The
anyhow,
saddle matches.
The saddle matches. You got to change your bar tape.
I have new bar tape.
There we go.
So
That's what I'm
There's
ready to do.
okay. You got to stop shaming people on the bar tape. You don't walk up to a man like he just walked up to my bike.
Oh, no,
pulled
no.
back
No,
my
no.
hoods. That's like looking under a shirt.
You just
man.
whipped it out?
You
You
did.
just
He
whipped out
did.
his hoods?
I was like, what?
He pulled back my hoods, and I didn't.
Because
I hid the way I
there was
taped them
some
underneath the
just-
hoods.
There was this like little gremlin poking out from under the hood that was terrifying. and
I
had
didn't
to,
even have to
you
pull the
sprinkle
hoods
it with
back.
water?
I looked at it.
and
He
just-
asked, the best thing is he asked me, how did my tape job go?
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. The worst tape job I've ever seen.
So next week we'll hear more about bike touring in Spokane and how plans can go to hell.
And how Jeremy can't do bar tape.
Lots of
Lots
new
of shaming
things.
ahead.
No, but lots for beginners too, and talking about how you can get more involved in your local bike communities and club rides, etc. So we'll catch you next 2 weeks from now on a Friday for Crank Revolution.
Woohoo. Yay.
Anything to say?
Ride more bikes.
Ride more bikes. What do you say, Mark?
Get on it.
Dirty old man.
Keep the shiny side up.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Crank Revolution podcast. Get to know your hosts. We have group rides in Illinois every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Follow us on Facebook at Crank Revolution or search out Crank Revolution Group Rides on Facebook. Find us on YouTube at Crank Revolution Media. Make a difference in the bike outreach in your area. If you have questions that we can help you answer, reach out to us at crankrevolutioncycling@gmail.com. If for some crazy reason you want to support this amazing show, reach out to us on Patreon. See you next week.